Alright, I think we're live.
Yes, indeed we are.
I think we might be a little bit quiet.
The race is getting ready to start.
Yep, started. It's
And-
been quiet.
I'm not sure if I can really suggest anything other than to try boosting me up on Discord, and if all else fails. But anyway, race has now begun. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Metroid Prime and Echoes crossover randomizer, or also known as a multi-world.
Yes, this is a cross-game multi-world race. We have one team on the left, one on the right.
On the left side, we have Team Fail Guys, consisting of Lenofis and Metroid MST. And on the right side, we have Team Orange versus Green, featuring Baja Blood and TGC, or the Ginger Chris. I guess we should also do a roll call of ourselves. So I am TIU, and joined with me
I'm Sean.
is... Yep. So, in terms of objective and what we have to do here, each runner has to pick up 9 key items. So for Prime, it's 9 artifacts, and for Echoes, 9 Sky Temple keys. And there's a small problem. 2 small problems. The first is the items have been shuffled around. The second problem is the items have been shuffled around in everybody's game. So, for example,
So the way it works is,
on.
yeah, I'll just take it from here. So the way it works is basically, Lena can find any of MST's items in his game, and vice versa. So we also have cross-game models working, which means we will actually see the correct models for the items we need to pick up.
Which was a recent feature introduced into the randomizer called Randomania.
It was introduced recently.
Yeah, I think the current patch had introduced it, version 4.2.1.
Yes.
But from my understanding, the cross-game models are a little hit and miss in the Echoes game. They have been known to crash in certain places.
Yeah, like Torvus Grove, a specific...
yeah, I've heard a lot
room.
of stories about Torvus.
Yeah, Torvus is really full of details. I love Torvus. Anyway, so unfortunately, the text at this resolution, at the resolution we're running the streams, is
might
completely
actually
unreadable.
It might be an issue on the Discord side of things. Looking at the stream itself on Twitch, it's perfectly fine for seeing.
Yeah, it's totally just... Yeah, I should probably just look through Twitch.
Yep. So we've got the Antechamber as one of the artifacts. Central Area Transport. Okay. it might just be an issue on
Watch
our end with
station
the Discord
in
stream.
Sanctuary Fortress. Great.
Watch station.
Love that.
Trial
Dark
tunnel.
Ended
Oh
was
boy.
Trial Tunnel. Trying to remember what Trial Tunnel is. Don't remember that though.
Meditation
Meditation
Vista.
Vista. Remember that one well. We need Screw Attack for that one.
Yeah, screw attack.
On the Transit 1. Hagon Waste Storage C.
Storage C is a pretty straightforward one.
Which one is Storage C? I think
If I remember correctly, it's the dock door in Pirate Labs. It's been a hot minute since I played Echoes, and it's difficult to remember all the identically named rooms.
I think the problematic one is just Storage B, which I think that's the one that requires super missiles.
Yes, B requires supers. Sacrificial Chamber, that is going to be
Powerbomb Guardian.
Yep. Oh boy. And that seems to be it for the hints for the Prime players. Again, pointing out that items can show up in anybody's game, much like in this case, the artifacts can show up in the Echoes players' games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have Leno and Baha playing Echoes, and MST and CGC playing Prime.
Yep.
So the hints you can get a lot earlier in Prime 1. For Echoes, you need to wait a little longer, get a few more items.
Yeah. The minimum to go check for hints in Echoes is you need a means to get in and out of the Dark World, so that's either Light and Dark Beam and or Annihilator.
Yes.
And you will also need super missiles and seeker missiles to open the necessary doors, and then perhaps a suit or energy to survive ether. Yeah.
You need to actually survive the trip there and back if you need to, but usually people just take a death after checking their hints.
Yeah, either they'll take a death or they'll take a reset, whichever they deem as faster.
Yeah, they'll just save before going in, write everything down that they read in the hints, and that'll be it. They'll just die or reset.
Yep. And what will also be helpful is, since each of the two teams are in their own Discord calls, they can also just effectively DM each other the hints, so that they don't have to remember strictly which ones
yeah, that's also
still need to be collected.
They can fully communicate to each other.
Yes.
Coordinate. Another thing that can be exploited about multi-worlds is if you send a player an item, that's it, you've sent it, and even if you die or reset, they'll keep that item. Even if they reset, they'll get the item back as soon as they gain control of Samus. So, for as an example, if you get into a room where you can't get back out, for example, like you can just go get the item and just reset out to take a death, and you get the item anyway. It's basically a bit like teleporting.
Yeah. Another cool thing you can take advantage of with multi-world as well is you, if say you need a bit of extra health to do a damage run, more prominently with the Echoes runners, because Dark Ether will be constantly sapping away at the health. What you can do is one player, the Prime player, can wait by a nearby energy tank, and then when the Echo player or the other way around, if the other player needs it, they can simply have it picked up and have all their health restored.
Yeah, they can strategically pick up energy tanks to basically practically double their energy when it comes to damage runs. That's Leno's own Amber translator. So they've been getting a lot of items, and I've been missing all of them.
Yeah, so we
We
noticed
we
that
spent a lot of
TGC
time
had
just introducing.
recently picked. Yeah, there is a lot to cover when it comes to multi-world. Like
Yeah, there
on
is.
paper, it's pretty easy to just sit down, pick it up, and go play it. But like it's when you stop and think about it, there's a lot going on. So TGC finding Spider-Ball earlier in the Jozo main plaza balcony on the way out from vaults, finding also
Baja's
light
light
beam,
beam.
yeah, Baja's light beam.
I
You know,
just noticed, with thanks to that, I just noticed there is a considerable delay between uh, the streams, between specifically the cross game streams. Like the Prime streams are like 10 seconds behind the Echo streams. You can see it on the
yeah,
timer as well. I don't know if that's deliberate. Like
that
maybe that's
might
supposed to.
that
Maybe that's supposed to like
it
help
might
to help the viewers actually see everything.
perhaps it could also boil down to the woes of having to stream 4 streams at once.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a flamethrower in Mining Plaza, Mining Station
Mining
A.
Station A.
Great, love it. We love a flamethrower.
Yeah, we love validating runs. We love validating runs.
So let's see. Bar's got boost, bombs, light beam. Leno's got pretty much the same stuff, I think.
Yep, not too far behind Baja either, Leno. One entering the dark worlds and Leno getting ready to enter it.
Of course, both teams are using the same seed,
Yep.
so they should be getting all the same items.
Yep.
They'll get them all in the same locations.
Yep. So just learned from Leno's side that we do not have to return the energy to Great Sanctuary Fortress because Umos's reward is just a missile tank.
Great.
However, we don't quite have any intelligence on if we need to kill Quadraxis, so
Yeah,
that could
this
be
is
interesting.
usually when a boss is revealed by a hint to hold garbage, we usually say that boss is dead. And when there's 2 checks that they lock, like Quad and Amorbis, I usually say they are half dead, like
Yeah,
struggling to survive there. So Quad is half dead. That's good. No one likes Quad.
that is a good sign. Quads.
And the absence of trackers is it's a lot bigger of a problem than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Look at all that empty space in the middle.
But then we'd have to manually track things ourselves.
No, we could just have them stream their auto tracker with Round of Vein, like comes with an auto tracker. They could just stream that, and then we
That
could
is
have
true.
little squares there in the middle.
Yeah. However,
Instead
that
of
would still
the
require
big
the
logo.
runners. Yeah, that would still require the runners to use or utilize the tracker within the stream layout.
Yeah, they are anyway. Like, I know for a fact Leno and Baja do it. I know
Okay.
Chris does it as well. Don't know about MST.
I can quickly take a look at that. Very likely that he does. The most multi-world players will typically prefer to make use of the item tracker. Yeah, MST is also using an item tracker as well.
Yeah, everyone is.
Yeah,
We could have done that.
it was possible, yeah, but given I think we were already pushing time enough with getting everything set up.
I mean,
I think we
maybe
wanted to,
if the layout can be edited midstream, maybe it can still be done while the race is going on. It's not like we
possibly.
need to move the feeds.
I think for now we'll just have to make do with what we got for now.
Yeah.
So, Leno and Baha doing something that it might look a little weird to someone who's never played
Yeah.
Echoes. They're just shooting into thin air. Like, what are you two
What am
doing?
I doing?
Uh,
But
um,
basically, what's going on is there's a boss here, Jump Guardian.
yep, Baha
Yeah,
just made
there it
very
is.
quick, easy. Yep,
There's Jump Guardian. As you
yep,
can see, the fight started with just a slither of health left. And that's because the hitbox for Jump Guardian to damage it is already there, just right there at the spot they were shooting. And if you shoot it before the fight starts, you can safely just basically almost kill it, and then just start the fight with a slither of health left and easily kill it. Of course, we have to explain everything in every stream. Yes, that's what this is about. Exactly.
yes. Because if people watch this later in the future, that at least then they'll be educated if they've never played Echoes or
Yeah,
Randomizer or
exactly.
anything.
If 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 you've never played Echoes and you're watching a randomizer feed from an old stream, which of course you would do as a person who's never played Echoes, you know.
It's also the same with tournaments, tournament races as well. When they get restreamed, tech will also be explained there on a number of
Yeah,
occasions too. So
always, always.
yeah,
They always
the
explain it
woes,
like
the
even
woes of doing marathon stuff.
during speed runs and stuff. They always explain everything, which I like. Love when they explain stuff. I do not love it when they have like people in the background who like erupt in applause for anything. Like, please calm down. He just did a scan dash.
Well, it depends on how noteworthy the trick that was executed. It depends on
Yeah,
that. But notice MST taking a reset here because you need bombs to get out of Burnt Dome, and
yeah.
there
You need bombs
was
to get out of Zoid.
yeah.
So that's a soft lock if Zoid doesn't have bombs.
MST
In other
electing to
words,
take a save.
if bombs aren't vanilla, which they usually aren't.
Yeah, but as far as the settings for this particular race goes, points of no return, it is very possible for these runners to do what is considered by the randomizer as a dangerous action,
Yeah,
which is effectively the
which is
game's way of
just, for
saying,
example, yeah, like it can put bombs on Zoid. If it puts bombs on Zoid, then you narrowly escape the soft lock, and that's the dangerous action there.
yeah.
Are those set to randomly?
They points of no return have been set to random for these particular settings, which
Okay. Yeah, because there's
I
also a
guess
setting
I'll
to have them as the last resort, which I assume it means if there is no other option for logic, then it will be put in a dangerous place.
yes. However, as I mentioned in this particular race, dangerous actions have been set to random, so it is very likely that they will need to again chance it with Incinerate a Drone. It's possible they will need to chance it with Thardus or Spider Guardian or any other boss, and they might not have the tools to necessarily escape at the time.
Yeah, which is terrible, but at least they won't lose all their progress if they have to reset, because you are given back everything in multi-worlds.
Yes, and usually our runners will choose to take a safety save before committing to points of no return, as MST did
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Incinerator Drone.
Usually people save before dangerous actions. Unlike this dingus right here, me, I, 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 I very often just forget to save and hate myself for it, especially in Dread. There's so much Dread. Another thing that we might have to explain about Echo specifically is Cannonball, like what it is. But
Yes.
we'll get there if we get there.
But I think another thing we can briefly gloss over will be we've mentioned about randomizer settings. So Randovania, you can define like different aspects of the randomizer. So say you can choose like how many missiles each expansion gives you and how many expansions can appear. Other things are something called logic. The game doesn't just randomly wanton just place items as it sees fit, because that could end up with interesting situations, as say plasma beam being
Yeah,
required to get plasma beam.
interesting as in impossible to complete. Yes.
Yes. So there is some logic into play, and a way that this logic can be affected is with having various tricks or difficulty added into the settings. So I'm not exactly sure of the entire list of settings that our runners are using, but they are straightforward enough that even if you have a rough idea of how to do like 100% of this game, you should be able to complete a seed of this no problem.
Yeah, I think they might have a few tricks set to beginner difficulty,
Yeah.
which just means that Logic can expect you to do a couple tricks that are usually like speedrunning tricks or tricks that are specific to the randomizer because they never come up in a speedrun, something like that. Like scan dashing, which is a trick that just gives you a ton of horizontal velocity and allows you to cross large gaps.
Yep. As we saw MST and TGC right at the beginning of the run, actually, to get to
Yeah, to
the
do early
alcove item.
alcove, which is something that is done during speedruns to get
Yep.
space jump boots as the very first item in the game, which is obviously extremely useful.
Yep. With Baha now finding his Amber translator.
So that should open up some stuff. I don't know what the settings are like because you can also randomize translator gates. You can randomize their colors.
Yep.
There's also a setting to have them randomized to sometimes just be unlocked. You just have to scan them. You don't need any translators. But sometimes they can be like that. It's translator gates and that one lift in Torvus Temple that you activate with the scan visor.
Yeah.
Usually
After.
it's Emerald. You can randomize it. It can also that one can also be randomized to be open.
Yep. However, for the sake of simplicity, this session will be using the standard gate colors.
Or vanilla translators.
Yeah.
Vanilla translator gates. Um, we have vanilla lifts, I think. Yeah.
So Leno just getting the hint that that MST's space jump is in GFMC compound. Now,
Okay, so it could be either in the crate or on the ship.
yeah,
The crate, it can actually be pretty good for certain items. For example, for progressive items, and expansions, power bombs, e-tanks, all those items that you can get more than once in the game. Because if it's in the crate, you can duplicate it by getting the item in the crate and then triggering a cutscene in the room that actually respawns the crate and the item inside it, so you can get double the same item.
Unfortunately, it does not apply if it is your other. If your other words slow down. It doesn't work if it's the other player's item. So, say for example, if it's just a missile tank in the box in GFMC compound, then and it's say MST's missile, then you can't duplicate it, as Randovania will already have deemed that missile tank as collected.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
Yeah.
It just says, okay, the item there was collected, so let's not duplicate it. It's to prevent cheating.
Yeah.
Maybe for GFMC it could be made like a little exceptions for the crate. But yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, that can be very useful when it comes to progressive suits, for example. Because if you get a progressive suit in the crate, on single player at least, or for yourself, you'll just get 2 suits in one room.
Yeah.
This is never considered by logic, but you can do it.
It is possible, yeah. This is indeed what people were talking about the other day.
And Baha's redoing Job Guardian. Don't know when he died.
I must have missed what happened to Baha.
Yeah,
Either there was a
too.
reset.
Yeah, there's 4 feats to look at.
Yeah. Leno slowly making his way over to GFMC to go pick up that major item, space jump. Finding Dark Beam along the way, okay.
Alright, so now Leno can travel back and forth between the light and dark world. Thermal visor for MST.
Interesting.
That can be useful. I think it's one of the only items one of the very few items in Prime that aren't actually required.
In 1.0 of Prime, or the GameCube versions of Prime, it's not explicit. It's not hard required.
Yeah, so
it helps.
So, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, you can explain it.
So it helps, but oh, nice. The space jump was in the box rather than on top of the ship. But yeah, thermal's not hard required, but it makes things a little easier. Primarily activating terminals with wave beam alongside fighting Thardas. And for the sake of the randomizer, the game, all the settings that these runners are using, they will the randomizer will expect them to have thermal visor for these occasions. So to get through the crashed frigate, they will need thermal visor as far as the randomizer is concerned, as far as logic goes. And to fight Thardas, the game expects them
There is a
to...
trick. There is a trick called invisible object, which is basically this. You can set it so logic expects you to know that those invisible objects are there. So like it expects you to know where the conduits are for wave beam. For Thardas, you just have to feel around and see when you damage the body part you shoot at.
Yeah. At
It's a lot
least
faster
the
with
good,
thermal.
at least on the plus side with Thardas, the rocks that you have to shoot are the same every single time. So long as you know where the rocks are, it's a pretty straightforward fight.
I never memorized the pattern.
That was super missiles that I saw for MST. Excellent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, main plaza tree yielded nothing this time around.
Yeah, well, more missiles.
Yep. Prime player will need as
Prime does
many
have
missiles as they can get.
you can burn through missiles very quickly in Prime.
Oh yeah.
I love rapid missile fire.
Yep. Yeah, in terms of the rocks to shoot for Thardas, it's you start from the bottom left rock facing your direction, and then just work your way clockwise.
Hmm.
Then it's top left rock, top right rock, then chest piece.
Charge.
Speaking of charge, it's also worth note to point out that again the current settings that these runners are using for the prime runners, they will start with charge beam by default instead of having to hunt it out among with the item pool.
Yeah, in Prime you do have to get a charge beam after the game starts. In Echoes you start with it, and usually when people play Prime Rando, they will just start with charge beam, just cause.
MST finding power bombs for Leno. Those are the main power bombs.
So yeah, another thing about logic, this about mains and expansions. I think under the settings they're running at, you can get use of missiles and power bombs simply by getting an expansion for them. However, logic always expects you to get the main launcher for that item. So to be able to use missiles, according to logic, you need to get the missile launcher. And to use power bombs, you need to get the main power bomb item.
Yeah.
So if you do have expansion usage on, you can sometimes sequence break and speed things up by just finding an expansion before the main item. It can happen and happens a lot.
However, for the most part, the main expansion is pretty much the de facto for logic.
Yeah.
For most,
Logic
when it comes to expansion.
just doesn't ever consider expansions.
Yeah.
It can consider E-tanks for certain areas when it comes to combat and damage runs. If you have those enabled, you'll get some E-tanks, so you can do it logically, depending on the difficulty.
Yeah. However, I believe damage runs outside of Dark Ether, obviously, will mostly turned off. So in the case of energy tanks, it will be as many as the runners feel comfortable carrying.
Yeah, they might get some for some fights, because there's also, like in the trick section, there's also combat, which simply means how good are you at combat? Can you do quad with one E-tank? I'm asking you, can you do quad with one E-tank? If you can do quad with one E-tank, then you aren't very likely to get many E-tanks. Like, you're not guaranteed to get E-tanks on the way to quad if quad is required.
Leno finding another important missile launcher, which is the Seeker missiles in
Yes,
Dark Ocean.
finding Seekers. Seekers in this game suck, but I love them anyway.
What do you mean? They're like the most perfectly programmed thing in the game.
Fantastic. They're made better in Corruption, and of course then you have Storm missiles in Dread, which are the perfect iteration of them.
They can still have their moments, but nowhere near as bad as Prime 2 Seekers.
Yeah, they can still misbehave, of course. Nothing is perfect, especially lock-on stuff, but They work better in those later games. Meanwhile, Baja just found his own dark suit
Okay, I almost thought I dropped out there.
In the Splinter Hive. I didn't see when Leno did. Probably earlier when I looked over and he was opening up the gates.
Let's see here, we got MST trying Warrior Shrine, okay, without Boost Ball.
Yep.
Even though he does have Boost Ball and the means to get there regularly, it's just a small little
this
time
is
save.
just faster.
Yep. And also a demonstration of some of the tricks
dash,
harder difficulty.
Combat dash is just a scan dash, but you use a combat, like you use an enemy instead. Like you just need to lock onto something. It's more of a lock-on dash.
Yeah.
You can even use grapple points, for example, to trigger it.
I'm not sure about the combat side of things for grapple points, but I do know for scan dashes, just about anything works. But in some cases, a combat dash might be better off, as once you've completed a scan, performing scan dashes becomes just a little bit harder. So
yeah, when you scan,
in certain instances, it'll be better to scan something that's out of scanning range. But if something's in range, then sometimes it might be better off to find something to lock onto with Combat Visor instead.
or be very quick. Which, incidentally, is also how you do dashes of grapple points, or like grapple dashes, as I would call them. I think they're called that. Like you don't have much time to do it, but it's possible. It's doable. I've done it. Yes, Seekers take forever to charge up in this game. And it takes so much less in corruption. Alright, let's see.
So we've got an amber hint
We've
here.
got a hint here.
Let us take a look.
Super missile controller transport. Okay, so super missile is in Great Temple, I think.
Yeah, Great Temple. It'll give the area. It'll give the area name of the room itself, where the item could be.
Actually, wait. Has Leno already picked it up?
Although I think he might have already picked those up.
Yeah, I think so. It's like I think Leno's already picked up everything.
Perhaps.
And we already know that Tumos doesn't have anything. So.
Yes.
Yeah, Leno probably already has supers. This is what happens when you don't have a tracker.
Well, that's a nice easy fix for that. Let's quickly check Leno's trackers, make sure. But that's another interesting thing with okay, Leno does still need supers, but another interesting thing with the scan hints, that is, if a hint tells you the item, then only one of those exist in the entire in your world. So say, for example, wow, it's gone. Yeah, so if the super missile, the space jump boots, it means you only have one super missile, space jump in your game. But if it says, say, for example, a super missile, then it means you have multiple in your game. And in the case for the runners, it will mean, or our runners, it'll mean that they will have both the super missiles for each other. Let's see, TGC trying a tricky jump across Twin Fire still gets it. Very nice. However, I think without Spider, this might be considered out of logic.
Okay, so right now you can see a lot of dashes on Chris' side.
Yep.
Across these lava pools. Although he's got a grapple, dashes are very fast. They are very much faster than grappling.
Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy the speed you can achieve with combat and scan dashes.
Yeah, it's like always. It's a bunny hop, a BLJ situation where the devs just didn't think to put a limiter on something.
Well, they eventually fixed it.
Yeah, eventually. They fixed
Okay,
it
so
sort of in Prime 2,
so
and then eliminated it in the Wii versions.
I'm trying to remember my version differences, but I was reading the hint now on Baja's side. It was a super missile, so that would mean that
But
the
well,
Echo's super missile.
we already know we already know MST's super missile was in Leno's world,
Yeah.
like the Prime super missile is in the Echo's world.
Yeah. As I just saw the hint from Baja's stream, it was a super missile, so that means that.
Okay,
Super.
I think
Yeah.
that hint was just referring to the Prime super missile because that one was in the under the save station in the Great Temple.
Oh no, a super missile, yeah, would imply that the Echo's runner will have both of them.
Yeah, so at least we have
Yep.
that. We know that from that hint. That hint wasn't completely useless. Congratulations, you tried.
Well, unless they had already found both supers, then again, lovely, amazing hints.
Yeah, I love them. Funnily enough, there is a kind of logic to hints. It's just not nearly in depth as it should be. I love it when you enter a room from the wrong side. You traverse it all,
Yeah.
and then you get locked in when you finally get to the exit. Because there's a fight to do, have fun.
At least it can't be as bad as the original version 1.0s of these games. I think specifically with Echoes, because I remember a small horror story with Miles in that one of the rooms in Aegon, if you do it backwards, you have to do it very quickly, otherwise it crashes. And whenever he tried to test it in Dolphin, it would just blue screen.
Fantastic. Love it.
And it's the room that Leno is in right now. Unfortunately, I forget Echo's map names, or room names.
The light world's feeding pit.
Yeah.
Okay, so for some reason, when Leno finds an item for MST, the game calls MST player 1, but when MST gets an item for Leno, it will say received item from Fly Guy,
Yeah.
or Shy Guy, I think.
I'm not sure if this might be a Randovania issue between the two of them.
Okay, to answer a question in chat, this isn't a feature with the latest randomizer. It's been in this randomizer for a pretty long time now. It's called Randovania. If you wanna try it out. Also,
Yep,
if we
there
could get
is.
a moderator, because there's a spammer right there.
Oh, hold on. Oh, yep. Hold on. Oh, players. Gib. Right. To the ranch dimension with you. But yeah, this is a general feature. Yeah, this is a general feature of multi-world in that items, just even major items, even expansions, if they're not yours, they'll be sent over to the other players. So yeah, you can just hand over beam ammo to the Echoes player and
Yeah.
hand over all the energy tanks to the Prime player, and so on.
Man, imagine if you
Yep.
could, like, find an E-tank that's for yourself, and you just want to send it to the other player instead.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like sharing the item in the mystery box in Call of Duty Zombies. You can do that in Moon. Anyway,
Uh,
Chris is fighting Thardus
yep.
with the thermal visor, thankfully.
And
But
since he
it'll
has thermal, yeah, the fight will be considered in logic.
Yeah, because another thing about Thardus, like, um, visor aside, I mean, not really, but like logic aside, the fight is just a bit easier with the thermal visor because without it, you can't lock onto the weak spots until you expose them.
Yeah.
So with the thermal visor, just a bit easier, especially with the original tank controls.
Yeah. However, for those who do have some small problems with Thardus, a nice easy trick is whenever you've broken one of the rocks, when Thardus goes into his rolling animation, Morphball bombs instantly reveal the weak spots.
Yeah, just like a couple bombs.
Yep, I think it only
That's it.
takes one bomb, so I've been told, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I just place three.
Yeah,
I always place three just because I can. It's not like I need them.
yeah, play it safe. It's always with playing safe.
Yeah, exactly. Just
And
spam
sadly,
bombs.
Big Angry Rock Boy had absolutely nothing of value. It was a missile
Oh
tank.
well, it happens.
Yep, it is like that sometimes. Okay, today I learned that is another way of getting out of Thardus's room. You can just slope jump back out. Okay, learn something new
Yeah,
every
you
day.
can do that. Prime has a lot of this stuff, a lot of mobility options, a lot more slopes, a lot more, especially a lot more standable terrain, which is just standing on things that the devs didn't really intend you to stand on. Prime has a lot of those. In
Yes.
in in the other games, they toned it down a lot, unfortunately, because it's very fun.
Why can't my 2-ton power suit stand on a twig?
Yeah, it makes
Come
no
on, a
sense.
video game immersion.
Makes no sense. What?
Well,
Why can't
TGC
I do
finding
this?
Emerald Translator for Baja in
Yep.
Ruined Courtyard in Vendrana. That's. Uh, oh
Oh,
boy, I'm going.
that's a Dark Temple key. Hopefully, it's not needed.
Hopefully.
So that's a plasma locked key, and
Yes.
I'm not sure you can scan it. I don't think so.
You can't scan it if it's behind ice. I
Yeah.
think there is a Randomizer setting that will allow you to scan items that are generally blocked off, or there's usually like a scan that will go
Yeah,
along the
that's
lines
why.
of
That's
this
why.
object is out of range.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if that's included. Maybe not.
Not in this settings. I believe it's going to be. They will need the necessary items to
Yeah,
get
I think
proper
they
intel.
have. I think they have those extra quality of life scan points on. Another useful scan point that was added was, or rather, a text box that was edited and made into a scan point was the one at the very top of in Fendrana Labs, the one at the very top of the thermal visor room. The first switch at the very top will tell you what the item at the bottom is, so you don't have to jump down and see it.
I believe that also is an option that can be enabled or disabled on Randovania.
I think it's included in the extra scan points.
Maybe it is. Because I know the number of prime runs that I have done, or multi-world runs that I have done, never has that series of scan points told me what the item necessarily is.
Hmm.
Maybe a Randovania setting, it may not be. Or extra scan point setting, even. You got Baja taking on the ever-difficult Dark Missile Trooper, Scrunch. Only for a missile tank. You got MST taking on the angry rock that is Stardust. Soon to be disappointed that it's a missile tank.
Yep. It's a shame that this fight would be pretty fun if it didn't have those 2 minute-long cutscenes basically. We're forced to wait and look at Thardus just get mad.
I know, 2-minute long cutscenes. It's called Thardus turning into a morph ball and rolling around like an angry rock for like half an hour.
I mean, and it's not just that. There's something you have to do during that. It's like when he starts, when he starts stomping around and summoning lightning that doesn't hurt you. It's just very silly and unnecessary.
Oh, well,
But at least MST just got a spider ball from Leno, so
yep, he has
he
a
can
means
get out of here.
Whoa.
And now knows for a fact that no, Thardus does not have spider ball. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. You have to wait during this. You can't do anything to speed this up. You just have to look at him do it.
There is a small speed up that can be done, but it does require power bombs, and it needs to be placed in quite a good position. Otherwise, yeah, you just used up a power bomb and got not much out of it.
Other than that, I like Thardus fight. It's fun.
Thardus is certainly one of the quicker fights once you get familiar with it.
Okay, so Leno is waiting for Emerald, I think, at this point.
By the looks of things.
So Leno is in DK mode.
Or at least
where was Emerald?
potentially
yeah,
stuck.
Emerald was in Ruined Courtyard. So MST just needs to go over there and get it.
Shouldn't be too far away, provided.
Yeah, it's not far away. I just need to get out of here with Spider Ball.
Yeah.
Which we have now.
Yep.
It's okay. Very
and
easy.
Considering it's the only way that MST can really go right now, as
well, not the only way, but yeah.
We've just found Space Jump thanks to Baja in Torvas on the way to Meditation Vista.
All right. Is MST going the right way? Yup. Okay.
Yeah, he's going the right way. Excellent. So
Good.
Leno will soon be getting his own Space Jump.
Soon, trademark.
Soon, TM. In about, say, 3 minutes, it'll be now TM.
Nah, not 3 minutes. A lot less than that.
Yeah, maybe about a minute.
Already.
Yeah. Yep, there he is. Inside the tunnel.
Just need to absolutely waste these guys. Jump down here, and there we go.
There we go. And space jump. That is, that's a bit of a nasty spot to put space jump for echoes.
Yeah, I actually got a super late space jump in Corruption Rando just today.
Oh boy.
It was really bad location. It was like, how do you pronounce it? Crash Transit?
Hmm.
You need many items to get there.
Right.
Did most of the NSJ. It is fun, but a bit frustrating too. I love it when you miss this jump.
I love it when you spend 3 hours trying to find Emerald Translator and then like see this run like 50 minutes in Emerald Translator. It's like,
Anyway, speaking of 50 minutes in, we got
50 minute space jump for echoes.
Just now, 15 minutes in, 54 minutes in nearly, Morph Ball Bomb. Yeah, nice.
Okay.
I wonder if they have Spring Ball on. Maybe not. I love Spring Ball.
I'm not sure if the settings have it turned on or not. More likely not.
No, we'll see in
Yeah, there is a cool feature that was recently added into Randomizer, which was something originally exclusive to Prime Trilogy, which was Spring Ball. So if you had bombs, you could flick.
not a trilogy, but like the Wii versions of these games, which is Spring Ball. You just have to flick the Wii remote up, and you'll just do a Spring Ball jump, a little jump.
Yeah.
Gives you just as much height as a single bomb.
Yeah.
It's just quicker. And I use it a lot. It's very useful. Hopefully it's added to Echoes as well soon. Alright, this room is really fun to do with
yeah, Leno having a little... Oh no, I guess Leno had... Oh no, he's gonna go deal with the plant. I don't blame him. Once Tova's Plaza starts going wrong, it's painful.
Once it starts, it's always wrong.
It's, yeah, as far as Spring Ball goes, since we don't really have a Wii remote glued to a GameCube controller, the closest thing we have is C-stick up.
Yeah, like it was definitely doable. Like the reason why Spring Ball wasn't in the GameCube version was that they couldn't think of any way to, like, of any button to use for it, which I would say is, what are you talking about? You're making the game. You can change the controls however you like. What are you talking about? This race is any percent, to answer chat. Any percent, we just have to finish the game. Both members of a team need to finish the game.
Yes.
I don't know if final bosses are on or off.
Final bosses are turned on for this particular setting, particular seed. So MST will need Phazon Suit in order to fight Metroid Prime.
Yeah, that's the main difference. That's the main difference. When final bosses are turned on, you need a couple more items than usual. When they're turned off, you might not need them. Like in Prime, if you have final bosses on, you absolutely need all beams. You need both visors. If you have invisible objects turned off anyway. And you need Phazon Suit.
Yeah, you will need Phazon Suit.
I think you also need Space Jump. That might be it.
You'll basically need whatever you need to traverse the impact crater alongside.
Yeah, well, you need to traverse the impact crater. Then you need all beams for XR. Then you need both visors and Phazon Suit for Essence.
However, depending on the runner's confidence, they might elect to skip a visor or two, depending on. However,
Yeah, the visors aren't hard required for Essence. You can damage it without seeing it. So it's just up to you at that point. But
it
logic does
obviously will be
consider it
harder.
a requirement.
Yeah. The only hard requirement
But
for Essence is Phase on Suit, as you can even try this at home if you have all 12 artifacts from without Phase on Suit, because Phase on Suit also gives you a hidden item called Phase on Beam, and
yeah, you can see it
standing inside the Phase on
in
puddles
the
just
inventory.
absolutely will not work. Yeah, in the inventory.
You can see it in the inventory actually, which
Yeah.
just really makes me think. Okay, did you want to give it to me with the suit? Because that would have been really cool, a lot cooler than the actual game.
So we just see TGC doing something really strange here, going out of bounds to get
Yeah, Arbor
through
Chamber,
Arbor.
I think that's called.
Yes, it's called Arbor Chamber.
Arbor Chamber.
Doing it
You
without.
can go swiftly, like slightly out of bounds, just to get over the door, because it's a plasma door, of course. You can get over there with a space jump. I think you can do it without space jump too, but
You
I
need
don't think
space
so.
jump in order to reach
Okay,
Arbor
yeah, you
Chamber,
need space jump.
but you also need Morph Ball and bombs to make getting back inbounds a little easier.
Yeah, you need Morph Ball to get back inbounds, and bombs you technically don't need, but it's very easy to get stuck and soft locked. If you if you don't have bombs, you can't get out of that. So
Yeah,
it's
it's a very
better to,
big
like
recommended.
it's recommended exactly. It's recommended to have bombs for it. You can just approach the door from the other side. The room will load. And luckily, on the other side, that door, that plasma door, is just blue. So you can just open it with anything.
Yep, so you can safely exit it. Although it is
And
worth noting that
Chris just got an ice spreader right here in Ruined Shrine, which
nice.
can come in handy for Exo,
Yep,
for the ice phases,
indeed.
because you can just freeze it.
Yep, because Ice Spreader does just enough damage to force the Exo into into
Yeah, to just
another phase.
to just end the phase right then and there.
Yeah. Although naturally for it to work,
Basically it just makes the ice phases go by faster,
oh yeah,
especially because ice beam is ice beam
very slow
slow,
in every sense of the word.
slow. It's a full second of
Yep,
cooldown. It's
and
literally a second.
then its travel speed is not
Yeah,
the
its travel speed
greatest.
also sucks. Ice beam is the best beam in every other game. In Prime, it sucks.
Primate has a few small use cases, but it's just tricky to use.
Yeah, it's just, wow.
Leno just missing the boost bridge, so he has to climb back up,
Yeah.
wait for the bridge to rebuild, and there we go.
Yeah, I remember earlier when you were playing in this room. I'll show you how to do this room, and then you failed miserably.
Oh boy, MST doing the unthinkable. He's doing observatory dash.
Alright.
So that what MST is doing is not easy. It's very precise. You need both speed and height. You need to scan
Yeah,
off that terminal
it's a pretty precise dash. It's definitely
yeah.
doable. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's harder than most dashes in the game.
He indeed is Dewey, and he also seems under the belief that he thinks that I can teach him how to do this.
Oh, really?
Might have been because he first saw how to do it off of me, and then it's like, yeah, how do you do this? It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just get the speed, get the height. I don't know any other better way to explain it.
Can't even tell if he's using space jump. I assume he is.
Yeah, you do need space jump in order to make these jumps. So Baha doing a spot of his own out of bounds.
Oh yeah, this out of bounds is considered pretty easy because there's just a little hole in the wall in this room. You can use this to get out and just... I think you can use it in the dark version of this room to wall crawl all the way down to dark lower Torvus, which is useful, of course, if you don't have supers, for example, which are needed to get down there.
Oh, something that's also probably worth pointing out is that for the most part, any form of out of bounds is considered out of logic. And despite that
We don't have out of bounds on.
And despite there is a slider in Randovania to allow for one room out of bounds, so say for example like Arbor Chamber is considered like all you got to do is just go out of bounds in the previous room.
Yeah,
get
that's
in, no
one
problem.
room out of bounds.
Again, but the slider it.
Oh, there's Super Missile. There's the Echo Super Missile on the way to the temple.
Kind of French vanilla.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just one room over.
Yep.
Very useful. Especially useful in Torvus, because yeah. Okay, so for the bomb, for the BSJ Baha's trying to do, I recommend that you do it against the tree on the left of Baha, right here. It's actually easier if you do it against that.
Right. It would also help if you had a little bit of peace to try it without all these bugs. There we go. He's got it. But speaking of,
I need to show Baha how to do that because I bet he would be happy to know that he's taking some tries.
Speaking of BSJ, would you care to enlighten the audience
Explain
about
BSJ?
BSJ?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so listen up, class. When it comes to morphing and unmorphing in this game, the camera, just as you can see, follows you in very specific ways. It just goes behind you and but back onto you again. So sometimes the camera can't do that because the camera doesn't go through walls. So if there's something in the way, the camera just can't do that, and there's a failsafe that will just cancel out the animation, get right down to business, and get you into the state you need to be. Now in Prime 1, this is pretty hard to actually trigger. You can only really trigger it with a low ceiling. So if you bomb jump up and you leave the camera low enough under a ceiling, then you can get one of these. It was made easier to achieve in Echoes, and then so ridiculously easy in Corruption that you will do it all the time without even trying.
I'll take your word for it on that one.
So it's just an animation skip, and this can actually be used to jump in midair sometimes. So when you bomb jump up from a low ceiling in Prime or just against any wall in Echoes, because it just works against any wall in Echoes actually. Like you just need to get the camera right here. You can see with Baha, you just need to get the camera against the wall close to you, and you'll trigger the instant morph, the instant unmorph. So if you bomb jump up, you can do this with one bomb, with two bombs, or three bombs. It's called 1 BSJ, 2 BSJ, and 3 BSJ. They are, of course, each more difficult than the other. Though 2 and 3 are pretty much on the same level. the biggest jump is between 1 and 2. I myself went straight from 1 to 3, skipping 2, and then 2 I just used my knowledge for 3 to just kind of know how to do. So that's pretty much it. And so the way it works is when you button jump hop, you have about, I think, 24 frames. I think
Sounds about
24
right.
frames. If you unmorph within 24 frames of leaving the ground, basically the game still hasn't registered that you're not on the ground or something, because you can just, like, if you instant unmorph then and you try to jump, you can jump in midair. This can be used in a lot of places to get up some ledges without space jump. Can be used a lot in corruption, for example. I used it a lot in the seed I mentioned earlier, where I got space jump super late.
Mhm.
It's very useful. Coupled with space jump, you can use with the actual space jump, you can get kind of a triple jump, basically, which lets you get up to even higher ledges, and it's just very useful to get, for example, up where Baha went, because normally you need to go all the way around. You're not supposed to get up there until you go all the way around. You could also use Screw Attack if you find it, but there's also this.
Earlier on, MST had just found plasma in Magma Pool. Very fitting
Fitting,
in a way.
yeah.
But as far as being able to jump out of instant unmorphs, I think it's just overall 24 frames if you get the instant unmorph, as there's another application of the instant unmorph, which is, I believe, the community call a roll jump,
Oh
where
yeah, the
after
roll jump
unmorphing, you
basically
press
works the
jump,
same way.
or yeah, same way, except
It just
you're
works the
not using
same
it.
way, the same principle. It's using the same principle, same instant on morphing camera stuff. But instead of doing it up against a wall or on a low ceiling, you're doing it using boost ball up against a wall in order to get a sort of dash-like behavior.
Easiest way to describe it is where a BSJ is all about getting the height, a roll jump is more about getting the horizontal speed instead.
Yeah, it's more about getting horizontal distance.
Yeah.
For example, you can use it coupled with Terminal 4 abuse to cross the gap that you're supposed to get to the other side to activate some grapple points in Sanctuary Fortress,
Yes.
right next to Watch Station. I think it's called Watch Station Access Room.
Watch station access.
I think it's called that. You can use it in that room, coupled with Terminal 4 abuse to just get right to the next to the other side. It's useful. It's not too hard. It's just a matter of, again, leaving the ground, in this case falling down the ledge, and instant on-morphing within 24 frames of doing that. Then you can jump, and if you have space jump, you can get enough horizontal distance to get basically into the area where the game thinks you fell from the other side, and so it will teleport you up to the other ledge. And that's also, and so that's how terminal fall abuse works inside the explanation of a roll jump.
I think MST is a little upset with Bone Dome right now, since now that he has
Oh yeah.
bombs, he decided to go check the back, and unfortunately, there is nothing of value in the back either.
I love when that happens.
So it looks like today Burn Dome is a complete bust.
Love it. I love Burn Dome. I
Never has
like
anything
burning
in it.
domes.
Yes, indeed. Zoid living, once again being the troll that it is. Oh, you want progression? No. You wanted bombs
So,
to get out? Try again.
if you look at any of the two feeds um, with
Here we go.
Prime
Lana
1
was.
running, there's a very high chance that you'll see some kind of standable terrain somewhere because this game is absolutely filled with that.
Here we go. Leno with his hints.
Echoes also has some, but not nearly as much. So we have Mining Plaza, which is terrible. We need to do a Morbis, and we need
Ugh,
Echo Visor. Main Quarry, okay, that's a bit better.
not too
Not
bad.
as bad. Dark Aegon Temple. So both are on a Morbis. Great.
Storage Depot, am I reading that correctly?
Storage Depot A, yes. Which I
Okay,
don't
we'll.
remember what room that is in Phase on Mines.
Uh,
It might be the
A is.
Flamethrower room.
Yeah, A is flamethrower, yes.
Aerial
More,
Training Site,
more
love
phase,
it.
more phase on mines. Okay.
Fungal Axis, great. Love it.
Ugh.
Love it. Love Fungal Axis.
We all love
I make
lower
out with it
mines.
every night. I hug a pillow shaped like that room. Great Tree Chamber.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Okay, yeah. I think
Phase on
that's the
mines.
one next
Processing
to.
center. Oh no. No, no, no.
Oh,
Oh no, no.
great.
The
Yes.
hunt for X-ray
I
begins. Oh
love
no.
this.
Oh
We
no.
have a required. We have a required Mega Pirate, which, in terms of logic, simply means we need all beams and we need X-ray visor.
Yeah.
That's actually the only hard requirement for a visor in the entire game. You need to have X-ray visor activated in order to deal damage to a Mega Pirate, which is
Yeah.
fun. You
Yeah,
actually
very
don't
fun
need
indeed.
it in the Wii versions. I don't know about the PAL version. I think you also don't need it in the PAL version, but you don't need it in the newest versions. But in this version, you need to. You need to have the X-ray visor because we're running on the NTSCU version 1.0, so like the most unpatched version of the game, with a few things patched in from the next versions. For example, in the original NTSCU version, you didn't have a missile max count. You only knew how many missiles you had, kind of like in Super. You didn't have a number there telling you how many total missiles you had. It was added then um,
It was added in player's choice.
yeah, it was added in later versions anyway. And Randomania patches it back into version one, just as a little quality of life thing. There's a few things like that.
I think
That's
something worth
just
bringing to attention as well with Randovania is that it doesn't necessarily matter which version of Prime that you have, as Randovania will patch in all the necessary changes to
yeah,
keep
no
it as
matter
1.0 as possible.
yeah, no matter what version of the game you feed it, it will always give you the same custom version that it always spits out. Like it's sort of a custom version because it's not exactly 1.0, but it's 1.0 with a few patches, just custom 1.0. 1.0R, let's call it that. You can tell the max missile counter in Prime was an afterthought, like it was added later, because it doesn't look nearly as good as it does in Echoes. So Baja is fighting Powerbomb Guardian, which is just... Remember Flagra? You know how nobody likes that fight because it's all a cutscene and it's not really fun, and it's just a lot of waiting, and it's repetitive. Yeah, so Powerbomb Guardian is basically the same thing, down to the detail of being a plant.
One of those annoying ones that knocked Lenofis off during Torvus Plaza as well.
Yeah,
Except this one shoots high-grade explosives.
yeah. This one spits out C4.
Yep, which Baja has now made very quick work of.
Yeah, it's not a hard boss. It's just annoying. It's slow.
Yeah,
It's
it's
terrible.
slow.
This is one of the reasons why, I mentioned that I would like to see cutscene removal in Echoes, because Prime has cutscene removal as an option. Like, you can actually remove some cutscenes, which means while some cutscenes play out, you can still move, and they don't move you. There's a few settings for that, but we won't get into it.
Oh boy, we've got
And
intel on Aegon keys now, which yeah, that's going to be useful for.
well, yeah,
As
we
we
need to do
now
a
learn that.
Morbus. We know
Yeah.
we need to do a Morbus.
Yep, we know the worm rave is required.
Well, let's look at the bright side. At least a Morbus locks 2 keys, so that's 2 keys off in one go. Except, of course, we need to return the energy, and we need to find Echo Visor, which we don't know where it is. And
Yes, we will also need Screw Attack in order to reach the item in the end.
a Morbus can polish a spear. So Baja's just doing every mini boss possible. We're doing Grapple Guardian now.
Yes, this one is required after all, as
Yep.
major item is being blocked away by it.
We'll see what it is.
I
I'm betting
believe
Screw Attack.
I believe it was an artifact. We had already established
An
that
artifact. Oh, okay.
Sacrificial Chamber had something of
I thought it was
importance.
just a hint, an Echo's hint saying a major item. Alright, phase 2. Ramming into you.
Yeah, very dead. Yeah, it was an artifact. Meanwhile, it looks like Leno is making his way over to Sacrificial Chamber next to go deal with Grapple Guardian as well.
Yep.
And in some way, picking up this item, picking up the Grapple Guardian item is not always favorable, as it will start spawning some very annoying enemies throughout Torvus once you pick up the item. Lano now taking a crack at Powerbomb Guardian.
Boost Ball is very useful during this fight, and during this quote fight end quote, because it can let you skip some bombs, just do it a bit quicker.
Yep.
We've already talked about how this fight could really use being a bit quicker.
And just aim up, shoot Annihilator at it, call it a day.
Now that would be very, very fun. Like imagine if every boss was just imagine if every boss before Quad was just vulnerable to Annihilator Beam for debugging purposes. That would be fun.
You know, I like to think that that was the case for Dark Samus 1, and they forgot
Yeah,
to pull it back
yeah.
out.
Like if
So,
every boss was like that, I would love this game even more than I do, because I love this game. It's very fun.
oh,
I love this game.
so speaking of Seekers working as intended, we can see on Baja's side the woes of having to deal with Seeker.
Yes, of course, this is one of the worst Seeker locks in this entire game. You have to get it just right.
There we go. Got there, yeah.
It's very finicky. Yeah, sometimes you will miss a single Seeker, but you can, if you're quick enough, if you're quick on the draw, you can correct it quickly.
Oh, hey, Sean, speaking of knockoff Flagra, we got TGC fighting
We got the real
Flagra.
thing
Just,
here.
just.
We got the real thing, but instead of fighting it, we are murdering it in its sleep. That's basically what's happening here.
I don't know. This plant is just completely oblivious to the fact that it's just being incinerated.
Yeah.
So this is a result of.
Yeah, this happens when you enter the room from the wrong side, from the back, as Chris did, because you are dodging the trigger at the entrance of the room that starts the fight. But you can still get into the center there, and actually you don't get hurt by Flagra, there's no hitbox or anything, there's no collision in Flagra. You can just jump up there in the middle, as you can see, and bomb all the slots.
Yep.
Then you can go over to the trigger the fight, and just end it right then and there. It's pretty similar to how you how you handle Jump Guardian, in that you basically kill it before you start the fight, and then when you start it, it's already over. It's basically the same thing. Like, it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's very similar, not the same, but it's very similar.
Yeah,
the means of damaging it are already there when you enter the room, and there's a trigger that starts the fight. And you can do this. You can commit murder if you're crafty. In the case of Jump Guardian, by the way,
Screw Attack is 3 rooms away from Watch. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Very useful hint.
In the case of Jump Guardian, the trigger that starts the fight is the entirety of the safe room in the middle of the room. Like, this is the safe area in the middle of the room.
Yep.
So just to avoid that, you can enter the room from the right side, like from the side you're normally intended. You can still dodge the trigger. You just walk around the safe zone. You can go up and like, you can do this in the vanilla game if you want. Like, you don't even need anything. You don't need to actually get up there. You can just do it from below. It's possible. It's very easy. You can just do it.
In vanilla, it's actually quite just as simple as just even getting into one of the safe spots above with just using a simple bomb jump.
Yeah, it can do that too. But like, even without any tricks, you can like, if you just know where the hitbox is, you can just shoot it and it works.
Albeit the difference between Jump Guardian and Flagra is that Jump Guardian, the fight still needs to be triggered, and you still need to actually deal damage during the fight
Yeah,
itself.
you
You
get
can't.
into the fight, it just ends very quickly.
Yes. Whereas Flogger is still forever the cutscene boss, even if the fight isn't triggered. It's just hit the bomb block. Okay,
Okay,
sit
so
down, wait 3 hours.
Ghosts had Dark Visor,
Ooh.
which I don't remember if it's required, but it probably is if we found it there.
Safe to say that Dark Vice is probably required.
So Dark Visor isn't necessarily required. There are a lot of Dark Visor locks in the game, so it's very likely to be required, but it's not necessarily required. You need it along with Seekers for a few locks, um, like to enter Sanctuary from the entrance.
Yep. Gravity boost in Chozo Ice Temple. That
Oh well,
is.
that's good.
That is something
It's
Baja
handy.
could use right
It's
about now.
handy. It's handy. It's called handy. The dark suit is so bulky.
Alright, see what Baja's doing. He's checking the item up at the very top of Under Temple. Oh, that's important. Oh boy.
Okay, so yeah, that reminds me actually. Items that are required to items that are required um, for final bosses. We talked about the ones in Prime. We didn't talk about Echoes. In Echoes, for final bosses, you need let's see, Morph Ball bombs, or Power Bombs. One of the two.
No, you will need
Uh,
bombs.
you do need bombs.
There's a morph tunnel which requires you to get up a couple of blocks, which requires you to bomb pop.
Oh yeah.
So you will.
Ah,
The basic
so you need
necessary means
bombs. So you need
you'll need
bombs.
a means to get inside and out of the dark
Yeah,
world.
yeah. You need bombs. You need Morph Ball. You need super missiles. You need seekers. I think. Yeah.
Yes,
You
the
need
door
seekers.
leading to the temple is a secret door.
Yeah. You need seekers. You need space jump. You need screw attack. You need spider ball. You need light and dark beam. I think. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess technically
You can
maybe.
also get away with Annihilator as well.
I guess technically maybe you just need dark beam. But like, who's ever gonna go that far without finding another beam?
Yeah, the bare minimum is
Yeah, the
Dark
bare
Beam or
minimum is
Annihilator,
dark beam.
but most runners will end up finding Light Beam somewhere in the run, or if not, they
Yeah,
will
they
probably
usually
want to
do.
go seek out Light Beam as it's very useful for Phase 1 of
I've
Emperor Him.
tried generating a seed with just dark beam. It just wasn't possible. Maybe with a higher difficulty, it could be. It would be interesting to see.
Mhm.
An entire run with just dark beam. An entire seed.
Alrighty, we got Leno now back in Sank. Let's see.
So those are the hard requirements. Then there's also Dark Visor and Echo Visor because of the Dark Samus final fight. Of course, you also need Charge Beam in case you want to shuffle that. You need Charge Beam for Dark Samus 4.
Yes, it is possible to shuffle Charge Beam into the randomizer.
Oh, I do it all the time. Well, not all the time, but sometimes I do it.
Oh boy. So Leno has just found X, right? In Hall of Combat
Okay, so
Mastery.
well, that's good. That's good.
That
We
is
already
good.
know a Mega Pirate is required, so now we can at least do it.
That might be
Still need Ice
slightly
Beam on
unfortunate.
MST side, but we know where Ice Beam is,
Yes.
so we just need to get there. And I genuinely don't know when Leno's going to get there. That could be a
I
problem.
don't. It might be a problem because since Leno has now done Powerbomb Guardian,
Ice Beam
it's gonna be a
has
it's gonna be a
lots
question
of
of
Wow. Nice.
will
They trapped
Leno
me and
remember
forced me
to
to
go
blow
to Under
myself up with the
Temple?
crate.
There's another power bomb to you.
I can hear Baja.
How have we not found any of yours?
Oh,
I can hear Baja speaking.
okay, that might be
Did you
Discord side of
switch the
things.
audio?
My question is,
Hold on,
what
let's
did my
see
I
if
can
I
hear
can get
Chris
a hold
now.
of.
maybe back to magma?
It could be.
I think someone switched the audio.
Yeah, someone might have accidentally swapped the audio over. But,
Yeah, because usually what you do is you switch the audio to whoever's winning right now. So yeah, but like if you switch the audio, like in Baja's and Chris's streams, you can hear them. So meanwhile, in Leno's and MST streams, they're not capturing their Discord call. So we can only use Leno's and MST's audio. I don't know if MST's stream is without the call. Leno's is.
yeah, as we were getting on earlier, what concerns me now is will Leno. How long will it take for Leno to find Screw Attack? I don't imagine it should take too long, since he's now in Sank.
Yeah,
But
he
then
is
it'll
in
be the question of
Sanctuary,
will
so
he
it should
remember
just be a
Under
matter of
Temple?
getting down there. There's Under Temple.
Yeah.
Is there anything else in Under Temple that he
That was where Ice Beam
remotely?
was, but other than that, we've already killed.
Was there a hint for it? Oh, by the
I
way,
don't
this is
believe.
the roll jump we mentioned earlier. There we go. I hope there's a hint, because otherwise, I'm not sure Leno will even think to go there.
I don't think we've seen a hint for Ice Beam, so it's. I'm worried if Leno will come
Baja
back
was
for it.
just knocking out the entire area, but I don't know if Leno will want to do that.
If you want to focus on more denser areas.
Yeah, Leno might want to focus more on what he already knows. I don't know.
Baja finding Chris's main power bombs.
Right before, right before a section where he needed them. Very
Yeah,
useful.
perfect timing. Life growth.
Now, I see this room get a lot of oh, Phazons.
Oh no. Phase on.
I see this room get a lot of negative press. I think it's been nominated like one of the worst rooms ever in a video game.
Life growth tunnel.
Yeah, Life Growth Tunnel. Specifically because of this stuff that Chris was doing.
I hear a lot of bad experiences with Life growth tunnel, but I seem to just be one of the few that doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, when I go there, it's just pretty easy overall to get there. I don't know what that's about.
It doesn't seem too much of
Like,
value.
I do use a keyboard, so like my inputs are instantly like full analog to its limit. That might have something to do with it. I don't know. I'm not even sure Prime has uh, analog movement. Does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does. Okay.
Well, Lano's now got Screw Attack. Let's.
Oh, cool! Bar skip. You can see it on Chris.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Okay. Third
nice,
try. Third
nice.
try. That was really good.
Third try is really good. Yeah, that's really,
Yep.
really good.
I remember I once watched someone attempt it exactly 42 times.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Speaking
And
of
that still
42
wasn't. That
tries,
still
we have.
wasn't the longest. So we've got
Speaking of
Hat.
42 tries, we got MST back for take 2 of Observatory.
Yeah.
He's getting the speed. He's just elected to reset. Yeah, he's elected to reset. Oh
It's like
boy.
guitar. It's like guitar. You fail once, you never want to do it again.
Well, Lano's on the right track. He's in lower Torvus. Just go to Undertemple.
I am so conflicted about Phazon suit. Like it's fine. It's not a bad design, but it's way too boring after a while.
Guess that's how I've come to appreciate Gravity Suit more, since I've been so familiar with seeing Phazon Suit.
Yeah, Gravity is my favorite suit of all time in any game. It's the best. It's just the best. I love purple, so that's a big.
Oh,
Big
looks like
plus.
Leno remembered.
But it's
So
also
either there was a
very,
hint and
very
we completely
colourful.
missed it, or
I
it's
don't
likely
know.
that.
I don't know. There's 4 feet to look at.
Yeah.
I think it
It's
just
either
missed
possible
it.
we missed it,
It's
or
definitely possible. I don't know.
but there we go. We have MST's Ice Beam.
All right. The MST has all beams, all visors.
Oops. And we just had intel on what Checkup was guarding, but I just missed the tail end of it. Let's see, there's an E-tank. Is that an E-tank? Yeah, it looks like an E-tank in the thermal visor
Yeah.
room, so I don't think
Yeah.
that's worth shutting the power off.
Absolutely not. So MST is going to do reverse labs. Luckily, not dark. Just reverse
Yeah.
labs. Reverse everyday normal labs.
Yep, not having to do Observatory Dash.
Not having
Seems to
to
be
do
having a bit of a
observatory
bad day
dash.
with it today, it seems. Meanwhile, Chris slowly poking through the Phazon mines.
Actually, is
Oh, which is
swearing allowed on this channel?
not
don't
to my
think so.
understanding. No, I think it's just I think we generally follow speed gaming rules, so whatever they don't allow, we generally follow suit.
Alright.
But Chris
That
eventually
was,
about to
that was a joke
realize,
I wanted to do, but...
realize the pain that he's kind of in the right place, but he's gonna need to find X-ray.
Yeah.
But Baja will have to find X-ray for him.
Yeah, where was X-Ray?
X-ray was in Hall of Combat Mastery in Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
A pretty easy check. You can see it. You can see the item from outside.
Yep.
It's just a matter of getting to that room for Baja.
Yep. The only drawback with the Echoes player is that the visor doesn't show the correct color. So something that was cool that was added in Randomania is that for the Prime for Prime 1, you can see which visor is which, because In the
Yeah.
original game, each of the visor items were exactly the same model, like it's just the same color. So for the Randomania, we decided to add an orange tint to the thermal visor item, and for X-ray, a more white tint to the visor.
Yes.
Um,
And those
luckily,
custom models. Custom models still don't work. Don't work yet in cross-game models.
yeah, not quite.
So those aren't transferred. So we're just using the vanilla model in
Yes, for now.
Echoes.
And luckily, it's not a
Same thing.
problem
Same thing
for.
applies to the translators, which just didn't have a model. All the translator models are custom. In Prime, right
Yeah.
now, they appear as a nothing item, which is a Metroid. And
Yes.
then we have the Phazon suit, which also in Prime doesn't have a model. There's a custom one with just normal phase, normal like just like Varia and Gravity, but black. And since that's also a custom model in Echoes, it doesn't show up. Instead, you just have an Echoes suit model.
Which is just the vanilla Varia suit logo.
Yeah, which is just the
Model.
vanilla Varia
Yeah,
suit logo. Just I think
yeah,
it's bigger.
maybe.
It's
So,
always looked bigger to me. It's not like the Varia model is taken from the multiplayer mode because it's the model used by Double Damage, I think. Double Damage in the randomizer, since it is included as an item in the randomizer, it's a permanent power up. Just uses um, a bigger unsplit beam ammo model. So since it uses a vanilla model, it shows up no problem in Prime. Same with unlimited beam ammo, uses the same exact model, which we actually wanted to change, but never got around to it. Unlimited missiles is a weird exception. Unlimited missiles in Echoes uses a bigger launcher model, which is just the Prime One missile model. And in Prime One, though, with cross-game models, it instead uses an ordinary Echoes expansion model. I'm not sure why that was done, but that's how it works.
perhaps to discern that it is an Echoes item for now.
Hmm?
So perhaps to discern that it is an Echoes item for now.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's it.
Yes.
But like, you still can't tell whatever. It makes sense. It's an Echoes item. You can see it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that's actually something we hadn't exactly glossed over yet, and I think that's because this particular seed doesn't use it. But Randomania added a couple of versions ago a couple of multiplayer items, which are the unlimited beam ammo, the unlimited missiles, alongside with double damage. But for the sake of the seed, we are not using them.
So in the multiplayer mode of Echoes, those were all timed power-ups, but in the randomizer, they are permanent. So you can get them, like you get permanent unlimited missiles, unlimited ammo, double damage, which is really cool. Unlimited missiles, you can see when you have it because your missile counter will just stay at 255. Ammo is very similar. It will jump straight to 250 for both types of ammo. And double damage, really fun. You will see Samus like blinking red, which is really bad. Which gets really bad when you get inside safe zones in the Dark World. So much so that if you're streaming it, you should probably put up a little seizure warning for it. It's not too bad, but it's unpleasant. And if you do suffer from epilepsy, it could very well trigger an attack.
Getting the hint that, hey, X-Ray can be found in Hall Combat Mastery.
Let's go.
Which is slightly unfortunate, as the room has been passed on a couple of occasions.
Oh well, let's just get back there.
Yep. Luckily,
I have no idea why Baja's doing this. Why
as
is he
he,
fighting these guys?
likely because of an item that was picked up, has now forced these two wing smashers to appear.
Yeah, but like, you can open the door without triggering these two guys. The res bit will come out, and you can just kill it, and these guys just won't ever come fight you. Yeah, there we go. See, the Seekers.
Yep.
Is it that Seeker lock, and the door opens, the res bit comes out. You can do that as you enter the room, just slowly but surely. You could get inside just enough, so that works. Anyway, Chris just sent Baja the light suit, which is very useful.
Good to see a ventilation shaft.
As Baja was just now approaching the map
Oh
station,
no!
where he gets an ETM for his troubles. Very nice. Love an ETM.
Preface, they're useless.
Hey, did you know the ETM used to be on the tracker for this game?
I actually
I have
didn't
no
know
idea
that.
why it was on there, but I removed it when I made the new icons. Like, who needs the ETM on there? It was probably there to fill space, but since
Maybe.
I already included a couple extra items, it wasn't needed anymore.
Yeah, so the running joke within the Randolphania community is that ETMs are considered the run validator, so to speak. And
If you get an ETM, you win some brownie points, and you're just a good boy. Your run is officially like a stamp of approval.
yeah, it's valid.
Good run, valid run. It's certified. Randomizer. Run.
I think MSC only now just got bombs.
Yep.
Ouch.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, but since the ETM doesn't quite exist in Prime, we still need some type of validation for the Prime runners.
Prime,
we decided
of course.
flamethrower.
Of course. Since the validator would have to be the useless item, of course. Why not have it be flamethrower, since it's completely useless?
It
Now
serves.
you might say, what do you mean flamethrower? Adds something to your arsenal, and to that I say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? It doesn't
There's
add
only
anything.
There's only
What?
one fringe case for flamethrower, and that is on the off chance that you don't require super missiles, it actually works against Prime Exo's power phases.
Oh, it does?
It does.
Wow. That's
And
dumb. But like for Prime 1, I actually have this little self-imposed rule that like flamethrower is unlimited missiles. If I get a flamethrower, I just activate the unlimited missiles cheat code. Because why not? At least I'm giving it something to do. So if I get unlimited missiles, I can actually use flamethrower because it doesn't burn through your missile. It's still completely useless. It's still terrible, but I can use it. I can use Wave Buster more. That's way more useful. At least it homes in. It has range.
It can kill Flagra.
It can kill Flagra, though.
You need to put 200 missiles. Yeah, Flagra has a lot of health, and it doesn't look it when you're just attacking bomb slots, and a quarter of a health it's gone. Nice. And then when you just hit it with Wave Buster, it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's a lot of health.
So, almost 2 hours in. How are we doing? We are pretty far in, actually.
Yeah, we're pretty far in.
Okay,
Chris
Chris is going to
take
flick
having to take a save walk out from the mines, as he can't progress any further than Quarantine A until he finds plasma. Which we have intel on.
I love the hint for bombs in Olia's room.
Leno taking full advantage of how terrain in Metroid Prime works, just jumping on top of this laser device, which you're not usually supposed to stand on, but yeah, with speedrunners, we go fast.
That's a combination of standable terrain and slope jumps, which is called a slope jump. Please do not mention how it used to be called and how many people still call it for some reason. It's called a slope jump because it's a jump that uses a slope.
Yeah, so Prime's a little strange with the way the slopes behave. So if you're running up a slope and you press the jump button, the game accounts for the additional height from the slope. So it's like,
yeah, the momentum from the slope, the momentum from walking up the slope carries into your jump, and you jump higher. That's how Baja just got up this section here, the spider ball section. You can use it in many places, like anywhere there's a slope, you can do a slope jump. Even the crane in Main Quarry in Prime, you can use a slope jump to get up it and up to the item without spider ball.
if you also want to see an exaggerated version of how the slope jump works, is you can try doing one underwater without gravity suit, and you will see the same kind of effect. So all you do is when you hold down L, so the way slope jump works is when you hold down L, when you jump off of a slope, you gain the extra height from the slope as well. The game accounting for the slope too.
Oh, you hold L not all the way down, just analog L. Just so that little 3D reticle appears.
The reticle appears no matter how hard you press the L button.
Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't appear if you lock onto something.
Yeah, that'll be the only drawback of doing a full L press is you run the risk of locking onto something.
It only shows up when you're not locking onto anything, like when you don't have a target.
Yeah. Just general strafing.
I think it's a very silly, it's a very silly looking reticle. Like it reminds me of Big's fishing sections in Sonic Adventure. Like it
I'm
really looks
afraid
like...
to say I haven't played that, so I can't attest to that.
Oh well, it's okay. It's a very similar 3D reticle. Kind of holographic in the same way. And you use it to cast the fishing net. No, sorry, the fishing rod.
Yeah, the fishing line.
The fishing line. You use it to cast it, and then you just fish. Because that's what you want to do in Sonic Adventure, you want to fish.
Yeah. That's absolutely how you go fast.
It's pretty good actually, like, the fishing is not too in-depth, but it's pretty good. Sega does love fishing. Play Sonic Adventure. It's good. Play it with the retranslated mod so you can actually understand the story.
You got Chris here taking out one of the 3 elite pirates.
Yep.
Although since this one had
Or if-
spotted him,
or if
he's
you-
gonna have to do
Or
the.
if you count a Mega Pirate, which is basically the same thing.
That would make
There's 2
5.
elites, then there's Phazon. Let's see, there's 2 elites.
There's 3
Phazon
elites.
3 elites, okay. 3 regular
There's,
elites.
yeah, three
Phazon
regulars.
elite.
Phazon
and then
elite.
Omega
And then
Pirate.
Omega. Yes. There's the one in this room here as you escape from collecting power bombs. There's the one before ventilation shaft. That's the first one that you encounter.
And then there's the
another
one that shows up once you get
on the
Plasma
way-
Beam.
Yeah, on the way to Central Dynamo after you've collected Plasma Beam.
Yeah.
And for the sake of the randomizer, it shows in the randomizer like some of the weird nuances of how these games were programmed, because like for certain parts it's again, let's take Plasma Beam as an example. When you collect Plasma Beam, a couple things happen. One is one of those Omega elite pirates will show up and start attacking you in this claustrophobic space. But then in other instances, it's only checking if a certain item has been picked up. So again,
a certain item in that location, like the item in that location has been picked up, that's the trigger. Sometimes the trigger is, do you have this item?
yeah,
It's just kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah.
For layer changes and to trigger cutscenes, to trigger enemies. For example, in Echoes, an example of that is if you have Screw Attack, entering a Sanctuary entrance will trigger the cutscene where Doc Samus shows up and just wrecks the place, destroys the bridge, and you have to Screw Attack across, or use Spider Ball if you're a loser.
I think it's Spider Ball that actually triggers that event.
Is it Spider Ball? I don't remember.
Yeah, because it's at this point, the game does a bit of a U-turn and goes, okay, you've been busy like hyper focusing, exploring these particular areas. Like you go through Aegon, you clear it out, and then you do Torvus, you clear it out. Then you go through Sanctuary. It's like you got Spider Ball. Now go to Torvus. In this completely innocuous spot of Torvus as well to go fight Powerbomb Guardian. And the way out is...
Yeah, it's not very well communicated. That's where you're supposed to go.
Well, until you get told by the hint system, but that is up to the discretion of the player if they wish to use the hint system or
Yeah,
not.
I played them for the first time without hint system. Like, rather than using the hint system, I just used the walkthrough when I got stuck, because I did get stuck a lot. these games aren't good at telling you where you need to go.
Or at least when they throw in their curveballs of, okay, got this cool
Yeah,
item, where do I go now?
the problem with that is that, yeah, Echoes is mostly very linear, and then suddenly it goes, okay, go back to Torvus. What?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't understand fully why Leno does this. Like he goes up there and just like usually what I do is I lay a power bomb as I'm going down from the right to get to the left as the Spider Guardian is approaching, so that the power bomb gets it right as I'm going up to the left, and that's fast. Leno also fell down here after successpally doing what he was trying to do.
Yep, got there in the end, that's the important
Got
bit.
knocked out, so lost
So he's
his
going to
lost
have
his
to rebuild his momentum from doing the half pipe. Because, for whatever
don't you like
reason...
it when you have to rebuild your momentum in a half pipe for 2 hours?
Yeah, because the cutscene just completely killed your momentum.
Yeah, in this section here, it's terrible.
You know, actually... Hold on, is Leno actually low on health? Oh dear, like Leno's actually low on health.
Yeah, we've got 3 boxes coming up, which
Yeah.
usually have like a blue health thing.
Yeah, they got blue health. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I think a blue is like 50.
Yeah, blue health is with 50 energy,
Yeah,
so
50.
yeah, that's
There we
much
go.
healthier now.
Yep, 3 blues.
Also taking full advantage of the fact that this set of spider tracks can actually be spider-balled across.
Yeah, so the way this works is basically, like, the way these are different is this one right here and the one at the very beginning are spider tracks that you can move freely on, and the other ones, including the ones above this section, are one-way spider tracks, the ones you normally find. Those are not active during the fight, but these free moving ones are. Like, that's the distinction. I don't know why it's there, but that's the distinction.
Once again, more nuances of just how broken Prime can be when you start doing things out of sequence. Or when you're doing an encounter with an item that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah, a very important thing when designing Metroidvania that I think the primes kind of fail at is you absolutely need to give the players opportunities to sequence break. Like, don't make it too linear. I'm not playing a Metroidvania to play a linear game. Come on. I want to be able to sequence break. Super Metroid was fantastic at this. It was designed specifically for sequence breaking.
If you want a more in-your-face example of that, you look no further than Zero Mission, to the extent of, like, little
Yeah,
secrets
Zero
and shortcuts
Mission.
are all over them. But then I guess that would pose the question of, would you really call them sequence breaks if they were intended by the devs?
Oh
Or
yeah,
just
because
shortcuts?
there's an intended sequence, which is like the most obvious sequence. Or in the case of Super Metroid and Zero Mission, one of the many available sequences, and you can skip certain parts of it by just knowing your stuff.
Now I see what you mean with grapple combat dashes, and on Chris's stream, he did one of those weird grapple dashes.
Yeah, you don't have
Unfortunately,
much
missed.
time to do them, but you can do
Yeah.
it. It's still a normal lock-on.
Yeah. Taking advantage of more standable terrain. Random tree.
Great, love it.
Oh. Seems to be having a spot of trouble with it, though. Oh, never mind, he's taking the regular way around. No, back to...
So like in Prime 1, if anything looks kinda sort of flatty, more or less, you can stand on it.
The way I like to think of it with Prime is, if it exists, you can stand on it.
Yeah, it's rule 35. If it exists, you can stand on it.
Sure, let's go with that, I guess.
Would you prefer 33 or not?
I'll just stick with rule.
Rule number 1 of Metroid Prime.
If it
Maybe
exists,
maybe
stand
that's
if
more
you can
tasteful.
stand on it.
If it exists, yeah, you can stand on it. Even living creatures, you can stand on them to
Oh,
a
don't get me
certain
started.
extent.
There's trick logic for that, so...
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Jumping
no,
off
no.
enemies. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Hey, Lena also just got light suit.
Nice.
Finally.
Courtesy of ventilation shaft.
Thanks.
Yeah, so this is the pirate that... Oh, MST got seen by it as well. Yeah, that one pirate is... The game's checking, like, if you just have plasma. It's not checked if you pick the item up from plasma
Yeah.
processing. Here's another interesting little thing which we didn't gloss over with on Chris's end. Oh wait, no, has MST already done this? But yeah, the drone that shows up in Central Dynamo. Okay, no, it's... Yeah, the drone is attacking MST, but you can actually see the drone with X-ray. Even though at this point in the game you have absolutely no means of getting X-ray.
I thought that was how you were intended to do it. What?
No, because Life Grove is blocked off by Powerbomb
Oh yeah,
Barricade.
you need
Yes.
you need power bombs to get extra.
Oh no, Leno with the disappointment that Sanctuary Map Station is just an ETN.
Like uh, the that Sentry drone just comes out of nowhere. There are so many things in Prime that just come out of nowhere.
I
Like,
think most of it
okay,
we can
there's an
just walk down
invisible
to.
drone now, I guess. Okay, now there's invisible. What are the floating balls called?
The bombos?
Yeah,
Pulse bombos?
yeah, the bombers, I think. Yeah, there's invisible of those now. Deal with it.
At least by the time that you see them, you will have X-ray. You will have a means to combat
Now
against them.
there's color-coded Metroids. Deal with it.
They can't be frozen either. More wonderful out-of-bound shenanigans with Baja Blood.
You know, one thing I wish you could do in Prime
Oh.
and Echoes is
Oh.
stand on frozen enemies, like platforms.
Hmm.
You can do it
Yeah.
in Dread with some things, with the ice missiles. You can actually use it in Rando to get up some stuff. I don't know if it's in Logic, but you can do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know an awful lot of when it comes to Dread. I played it, a sequence broke it a couple of times. That's about, like, the most I've broken that game is camera lock. That's about it.
Oh yeah, I did that accidentally once. I had to reset.
Oh dear.
Like in Dread, sometimes you can freeze enemies with ice missiles. Sometimes they freeze in the way where you can still see what they are, and then they can break free pretty easily, and just takes one hit to kill them. And then there's enemies that when you freeze, they actually turn into like blocks.
Standable terrain.
Yeah, they turn into blocks, into little cubes, like like the rest of Dread works for the most part. Like you have actual blocks, little cube
Yeah.
stuff. And some enemies, when you freeze them, they will turn into these, and those you can stand on. Those have collision. Those are actual platforms that you can use. You can destroy them with just a beam or a melee attack, but you can use them as platforms if you're just careful.
So it looks like there's something important in Incash too, as Baja's actually trying to get this out of bounds. Or at least scout it?
Maybe Baja just wants to get it.
Yeah, this is where my Prime experience starts falling apart, because I'm
Maybe
more
Baja
familiar
just-
with the Prime aspect of things.
I think Baja's just sweeping at this point.
Perhaps.
With no hints remaining, that's all you can really do.
Just wondering if Baja has any more possible checks to make.
He's got a light suit, so there's definitely some stuff. Dark Visor puts all the in caches in logic.
Yep. Well, that is provided that the end caches have anything of use inside them.
Oh yeah, just saying it's more checks that we can do. Alright, there's this here. Warrior's Walk.
Yeah,
What is
Warrior
it?
Wall.
Just
Unfortunately,
Chris.
have to
Okay.
rely on stream delay. That's just an E-tank. Which, I think Chris has enough of Baja. You can stop now.
Oh. I think he needs more.
Listen, we went past the point where, you know, the number of energy tanks for Phazon mining tunnel once we picked up Phazon suit. You know.
Really? No, I think you need more. What's the harm? You can't have too much of something if it's good for you.
It costs time to get the item.
Oh, so what? It's good for you. You know what's not good for you? Radiation poisoning. Multiple energy gunshot wounds.
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound.
If you consider your bones flesh, sure. MST is doing Basal Mining Tunnel, which
Oh,
does exponential damage.
I'm not sure it's exponential. Or it I think it's just divided into chunks, and that as you get further into that part of the tunnel, you just end up hitting
Maybe.
damage planes that get worse and worse. And yeah, unfortunately, it didn't pay off for MST to try without Phazon suit.
Some things in the Prime series deal exponential damage, which I hate. Absolutely, it's the worst thing ever. Exponential damage is probably the worst design decision you could ever make. In Echoes, I think Ingstorm and Inkclaw deal exponential damage. In Corruption, every sustained form of damage deals it exponentially. Just Fuel Gel in Brio,
Yeah.
deals exponential damage. The acid rain on the pirate homeworld deals exponential
yeah.
damage. And Phazon, which actually heals you exponentially,
Yeah.
which is pretty handy.
Now, I wonder if MST will try the damage boost again through Phazon Mining Tunnel, or if he will end up finding Phazon Suit in Life Grove Tunnel.
We'll see.
Let's see if he can do the one phase Omega. Yeah, no.
Definitely needs Phazon suits, huh?
Hey, he did it.
A Mega Pirate is relatively easy to one cycle. You just need to be careful.
Yeah, most of my problem with one facing Omega is mainly just straight pirates. It's like, oh,
You need
I
to
hit
dodge
you, and
all
it's
the
like you,
pirates.
and then your gun just goes like halfway across the map. Never mind, shot missed.
Yeah.
Either that, or it's pirate just jumps straight in the way, goes all get down, Mr. President.
Yeah, I actually missed, like, last time I did this, I actually missed, great, Incarnate Key 2. Last time I did this, I actually missed, one super missile. Luckily that wasn't enough to fail me the one cycle. I managed to save it. I think you need to miss 2 to fail the one cycle, because I felt pretty tight.
Yeah, it looks like MST's bailing out then. He's gonna go either hope that Leno has Phazon or ultimately realize it's in Phazon Mining Tunnel. Not Phazon Mining Tunnel, Life Grove. Autopilot.
I'm pretty sure Phazon in general in Prime deals exponential damage. I'm not sure, but I feel like that might be the case.
I don't think it is. I think it basically caps at around 45 damage a second.
Maybe it does cap, but up until then I think it's exponential.
I mean, I'm not sure about exponential, but I know for certain, like, with Phazon, it's
Like it definitely starts. It definitely
there's an
starts out.
There is an acceleration, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure about exponential. Like, it starts off really slow and painless, and then it's like all of a sudden, why am I taking 45 damage a second?
Yeah, it's all of a sudden, which, you know, usually that's how exponential stuff works.
Perhaps I've just understood how exponents work slightly differently when it comes to exponential. It's constantly, progressively getting bigger and bigger and bigger, whereas with acceleration,
it's
it
not really
eventually has to stop at a point.
It's not really constantly getting bigger and bigger. It's always getting bigger by the amount that it got bigger last time. Like it always gets even bigger than it got last time it got bigger. The curve is very steep.
I'd imagine. On an unrelated note, we now have Leno fighting a Morbus. I still can't get over the fact that this one very specific room with the Morbus, the Ultra Energies still use the Vanilla Prime Marble.
Weird.
Yeah, and it's strictly just that one room.
Yeah, this is also the one room where Dark Beam disabling safe zones has a different effect.
has a use. Which we might see. Oh wait, no, we won't see from Leno because Mining Plaza has a thing, doesn't it? Alright, Sky Temple Key. MST's in the right place. Okay, yeah, he's on his way to Life Grove. He's gonna get phase on and I imagine maybe slightly upset with himself. Chris taking on Omega.
So I couldn't remember the name of the curve. But like, you remember the parabola?
I'm afraid that's not a name I'm familiar with.
It's a conic section. It's basically what happens when you map the exponential progression on a graph. Like, it starts out near the point, like the vertex. It starts out pretty flat, but then very quickly gets really steep. That makes sense. Like, if you think about it, like even just the power of 2, for example. You have 2, then you have 4. Right, that's just double, and then you double it again, and it's 8, and then you double it again, and it's 16, it's even more. Then you double that again, it's 32, then 64, then you jump straight to 128, then to 256.
So it's almost like a reverse Half-Life. Instead of starting off massive and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Instead you just start small and you just get larger and larger and larger.
Yeah, it's basically like that. It's pretty much. It actually looks like the same curve, just rotated by
the other way around.
by 90 degrees.
Chris making very swift work of Omega, picking up Sky Temple Key and Processing Center access. So, I guess the question now is, how is everyone doing on progress?
Yeah, it's hard to tell without a tracker. We would need to like count how many artifacts and Sky Temple keys they have.
Well, according to Leno's, Leno needs 2 more Sky Temple keys.
Okay, what about MST?
MST, loading the page up. Please, Twitch. I'm reading that correctly. I think he has all 9. Yeah, he's got all 9. So MST is in Artifact Go mode.
So then we have Baja.
Baja Blood. More than likely might also be in... Oh no, Baja's doing Echoes, never mind. Whoops.
Baja still needs 2. I checked it.
Still needs, yep, excellent, 2 more keys.
Needs 2. And what about Chris?
Wouldn't surprise me that Chris might also be in Artifact Go mode. Oh dear.
Okay, so what they need now is to, I think, the remaining 2 keys might be in the Prime Worlds.
Perhaps.
Though both Echoes runners are going to Sanctuary Fortress, so there might be one there. At least one.
Trying to remember the hints now.
Yeah, I don't remember them.
They all seem to be going in roughly the same direction.
Yeah. Baja's going to Hall of Combat Mastery. Yep. They are both going to upper Sank. I can't remember where it is. Is Lena going to the safe station?
I know taking a save. Okay, Leno's taking a safety save for something.
Just taking a save, not warping.
Maybe perhaps to go take a look at some checks that could possibly get him stuck. Yeah, looking at what it looks like,
Does
he's gonna go
anyone-
check Airy.
Does anyone still need anything when it comes to items for progression? They
In
don't have
terms of-
Echo Visor, do they?
They have not found
Lena doesn't
Echo.
even have Dark Visor.
No, Baja does have that.
Okay,
but
so both Leno and Baja are gambling right now. Are betting on a vanilla Echo Visor. I think they're on an Echo hunt.
So Baja's making his way to Sanctuary Temple. Meanwhile, Leno is making his way over to Airy.
Yeah, but Baja did unlock the way to Airy. I think Baja's doing Spider Guardian first, and then
Yeah,
getting to
Temple
Airy.
Perhaps.
Baja hasn't done that yet. Might even
Right.
check the floating in cache at the end.
Although, depending on what the intel was given from our fallen Luminoth, as something that we haven't pointed out yet with the randomizer again, that
I don't remember what that said. I wasn't looking, really.
but all of the fallen Luminoth that
Yeah,
tell
all
you
the
where the in caches are, they will tell you what item is inside their respective in cache.
yeah. They'll tell you broadly. They'll tell you just if it's a key, if it's like beam related, missile related, morphball
Yes.
related, a visor. No, not even a visor. A HUD system, which
Yeah,
could
HUD
mean
system.
any visor or translator.
My favorite is the life support system.
Yeah, life support system could be an E-tank, a suit. I think that's it.
It's a suit, E-tank, that's about it, yeah. I mean, Vanilla Echo could be something. Point of no
I
return has
really
that.
hope it's not vanilla.
Really hope it's not, but it's a possibility.
It's a possibility among many
Yes.
possibilities. Hopefully it's not that. That would be honestly pretty maddening. Like I don't feel very good when I see a vanilla item.
That is
Like I
not
kind of feel
what-
underwhelmed.
that's not really what Lana was
Okay.
looking for.
Oh well, it's a very good thing.
It is a good thing, but unfortunately does not get him out of Airy. So now it's an Echoes hunt.
Yep. The name of the game, Visor,
Yep.
which in the Japanese version could be referring to any of the two visors.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's called Dark Echoes. Yeah,
Yeah.
even better.
They were being so smart with that one, so clever.
Oh, never mind. We found Echo.
Well,
Yep. See, an Elder
MST has
Chamber.
had this opportunity for a while, for even longer
Yeah,
than Chris.
true.
Chris will get there eventually, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
I think the Prime 1 players are also sweeping at the moment.
Yeah. Pretty much have everything they need at this stage. It'll be full clear any area that they've not gone through yet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as far as Leno and Baja goes, it's this weird state of
What was in Ice Temple? There was something in Ice Temple. And Chris is about to get.
gravity boost.
Yeah. Very useful at this point.
Yeah. Provide.
Hmm,
Well,
thank
that's
you.
if there's any checks that Bajas has left to do in Lower Torvus.
MST just making sure that, yup, I do indeed have all artifacts.
Yep. Alas, it says on the tracker that he does have 9 out of 12, which is everything that we need to go beat us a giant space bird. But obviously, as much as MST
we have giant
can,
space bird, then we have a giant space crab, and then we have a giant space jellyfish.
yes,
Really full dinner,
yes, 3-course meal.
complete with violence.
Yeah, yeah, and explosions.
Lots of explosions.
Alright, so that's one more key off of Leno's list.
Only one left.
One left.
And I don't remember what that was.
I don't remember either. Mental note for the future, write them down.
They should have sent us the keys too.
Leno taking a save at the ship.
What's with the choppy audio?
Might be on Discord's end.
Oh, maybe. Wish there was an option on Discord to disable video and just enable audio. Streamed. Because I'm looking at the stream on my browser instead, because at least I can read the text. There's a bit of delay. Like I'm seeing things a bit later than you are.
Chris on his way now to pick up Echo for Baja. I believe that will...
That'll be a pleasant surprise.
Yep, I think that will put...
Yep, Baja's resetting. He did have some unfinished business back in Lower Torbus, but nothing important. Just a Prime 1 missile.
Okay, so pick the stage minus Annihilator. Baja's basically in go mode.
Wait, is that also done? Is that the last key? Oh, was it?
Lano double.
No, he's only got 8.
Yeah, it's 8. So I guess he's wondering which key they might be missing. Oh,
Maybe he's just
trying to
waiting for it. Maybe he's just waiting for the last key.
Oh, right, yes, of
Inside
course,
the
because
sensor?
MST, yeah, I remember. It was Phase-On Mining Tunnel, and MST tried it before, but unfortunately could not do the early skip.
I'm not sure why he's waiting here. Like, he could be waiting inside the teleport room. Like, he's got a light suit, doesn't need to worry about this, but...
I think you would still need to wait for the key, actually.
Like, he does need to wait for the key, but like, why isn't he waiting closer to the teleporter? Why is he waiting all the way out here?
I think in the same vein as Prime 1, if you're nearby the room, if you're inside the room itself, it won't register that you've picked up any recent artifacts.
Maybe. Don't know.
Because I've had this happen on both Echoes and on Prime as well. Like, if you're inside the room,
Chris has already
been given an artifact.
Ridley.
Yep.
The Baja only needs the keys he's now about to get from Morbus.
Yeah. So it's ideal for the Prime player to be in go mode first, as the collection of fights that the Prime player has to do generally takes a lot longer than the Echoes fights.
Yeah. The Echoes fights are definitely shorter.
Yeah.
They're a lot less scripted. They just don't take as much in general. Ridley here is probably the best fight in the entire game. The rest are kind of boring. Like, there's Ridley, there's Stardust, the rest are trash.
There's one thing I hate about Ridley, though, is this tackle. I hate it.
Yeah, this charge attack is just...
Okay,
why?
I hate it so much.
You can snipe it. If you just keep shooting missiles, you will snipe it a couple times. It's pretty nice when that happens.
Like,
But yeah,
on occasion,
other than that, it's just a good
on
fight.
occasion, I've got the shot, but no.
Oh yeah, it's a good fight if you skip like 3/4 of it, because if you don't, it will just be waiting for him to stop flying. Ridley's fight is only good because you can skip most of it.
I mean, and I guess you could really say the same about Emperor Ring as well. It's like, you just skip all of Phase 3, it's called Screw Attack.
Yeah, pretty much. In general, the fights in the primes aren't very good overall. And in general, when I'm playing a Metroidvania, I don't really care about bosses. I don't want boss fights. Just give me the exploration. Give me the Metroid. Give me the Vania, please. Thank you. No
Play
bosses.
Axiom Verge 2 then. I think Axiom Verge 2 fits a very good descriptor of that. Less focus on bosses and more about exploration.
Yeah, but I played an indie Metroidvania recently called Vomitorium.
I got that sitting on my library somewhere. I've just been
Yeah,
trying to
it's
find the time and place
made in the
to
Doom
pick it up.
engine, the original Doom engine, made free.
Nice.
Like it's 2.5D, and it's first-person Metroidvania, and like it's fine. But, like there's all these bosses that just don't really work. Like they just feel shoehorned in. I would really rather have it focus on the exploration and the Metroidvania side of things. Like ever since Hollow Knight, it feels like every single Metroidvania now has to have some Dark Souls stuff to it. I don't like Dark Souls. Please just give me a Metroidvania. There's a reason I'm playing this instead of playing Dark Souls.
So to answer a question
Is
in
this
chat,
to answer that for chat? Is this the average time? Well, not really. This is a bit below average, I would say. I think this is pretty quick for a multi-world, honestly.
usually the way that I've always been told to gauge it is usually a multi takes one, like for every player that's in the multi, just add an hour for each player.
Now, to determine the winner, no, I think it's just the first team where both finish.
Yeah.
Which means Leno and MST might win if they play it right. Because Leno's almost done. MST started to fight Ridley.
Getting to fight Ridley.
And Chris is pretty deep in, but Baha has yet to even approach being done.
However, he's not too far off. All he has to do is pick up pick one more.
Yeah, he just needs to get one more item and do it, but like that's going to take a few minutes. And we're already almost done here.
Yeah, it does. But also,
That
it's
could cost.
also the consideration that again, the Echo's final bosses takes a lot less longer than the Prime bosses. So
Yeah, it takes a lot less.
MST, like in order to secure a victory, he's gonna have to just all out throughout these next few fights.
Yeah.
And just hope for good attack patterns. The
He's
Prime behaves
nailing-
himself.
He's nailing Ridley so far.
Yeah, he's doing pretty alright with Ridley, yeah. Although anybody who can get the shots off anytime Ridley tries to tackle you it is already a win as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, sometimes just the steady streams of missiles. It's a bit wasteful, but a steady stream of missiles usually works.
I just find that if he's doing far too many of those tackles, it's like, never mind, Wave Buster, okay? Just stop trying to be funny, Ridley. The joke died long ago.
Leno is trying to skip DS4
Yeah.
with Screw Attack playing it safe. Let's see if he manages to. Because when it happens, it's really nice.
Oh yeah, he got it. He got
there
it.
we
Nice.
go. Alright, that'll
Okay,
be
so
time
that's-
for Leno.
Yep.
Leno's
that's
first to finish overall.
finished.
I'm guessing Chris will be second, then MST, and then Baha. That's my prediction.
That looks about the way that it's going. But again, that is provided that MST's impact crater goes pretty smoothly. Otherwise, it
At
might
this
mean
point, at this
Baha's
point,
got
I doubt Baha can make up for it. Like, unless MST straight up dies, I don't think anything's gonna change at this point.
Oh, time will tell. After MST.
Yeah, we'll see. I just doubt it. Yeah, MST is having
Having
a bad time in the impact crater.
having a spot of trouble with some jellyfish that have some split personality disorder.
Ah, see, Essence is a jellyfish. Lava Metroids, normal lava Metroids are not jellyfish. They are something else entirely. They are weird little hats. They are hats. The hats, yes. They are
I feel
ball
so enlightened.
hats. The ball hats.
Well, they're just like cool beanies or something.
Yeah, exactly. I would love to have one of those. Shaped.
I'd rather not.
There probably is something like that out there. I mean, there's literally head crab caps from Half-Life, so there's probably
Uh,
a Metroid thing too.
there's probably merch for it then. I wouldn't put it past it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Baha is also ready to do final bosses.
Yep, getting into Sky Temple.
Chris is almost
Cleaning
done
up.
with Essence.
Yep. Oops, standing
Well,
on the magic
almost
twig.
done. Like relatively
Oh.
almost done. Like he's fighting Essence. He's at Essence.
Fighting. Can't see it. I'm air quoting because, yeah. Like,
Fighting a big
Essence,
jellyfish.
Essence's only attack is to stare at you menacingly, and that's about it.
You know, Essence's head kind of looks like Mega Mind's.
Oh no.
I'll leave you with that.
Some might be
No
wondering
phase
now.
on.
No phase on. All phase on. Oops, all phase on. But some might be wondering, like, why is Chris taking so long to shoot Hyper Beam? And part of it is due to just manipulation.
Yeah, it's all manipulation.
Manipulating Prime into getting into pool phases as, in a timely fashion.
It's all manipulation, just like my love life. No.
I'm not sure you can reliably manipulate RNG for that.
Is MST's stream? Does MST stream also include call audio? Because if it doesn't, maybe we could switch to that. Because Leonard's done.
Let's see what we can do here.
Chris is done, by the way.
Nice. So it's now a toss-up between. Yeah, I.
Baja
yeah,
could
since-
make it in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point it might be probable. This is definitely a close one, regardless of who comes out on top here. I guess I overestimated Echo's bosses or underestimated Primes.
I mean, I was also concerned as to how long Prime fight takes as a whole, because it's not something I generally do that much.
Really long.
But
Exo in particular, Exo is just most of the time it's just Exo. If Baja manages to skip the S4, then he's got this in the bag. If he messes up and gets centered, then MST
it
could
might
take
give
the
MST a
win.
chance.
Yeah, MST could take the win if Baja messes up here.
It is also dependent on how cooperative Prime Essence is going to be.
Yeah.
Which, you're noticing that the way that this skip works is you notice that they're shooting missiles at Dark Samus to try and force her to. No, Baja didn't get the skip.
Okay, Baja got centered, which means MST could have a chance here. depending
has-
on the S4's RNG. Which
Given the
looks pretty
circumstance.
generous so far.
Hmm.
Wow. I mean, wow. Come on. That's just mean. 2 in a row? That's just slither of help. If she does it again. Oh well. And that'll be it for Baja.
Yep. That's it.
That was
GG.
really close. Really close. Just one essence fight apart.
Yep. But
Which
nevertheless,
is to say, just 2 hours apart, approximately. 'Cause
orange
essence can go
versus
poly to
green take
spear.
the win with the earliest win with the finish time of 2 hours 52 and 50 seconds.
Yep. A shame, seeing how early Leno was. But hey,
Mhm.
what can you do? It's prime bosses.
Yeah.
They suck. If we had skipped bosses, then MST would have won. By a pretty wide margin. But these bosses are just too slow.
And another cool thing about Randomizer is once you get to the credits, you get to see where everything is.
Yeah, that was added to Prime a while ago. Then it was added to Echoes finally. Now it's just there.
Yep.
Pretty handy. There is still some stuff in Prime that Echoes doesn't have. For example, in the credits you can both fast forward and rewind with the analog stick. In
Yeah.
Echoes you can't. You just have to watch them go by.
Yeah. Randomania, I believe, speeds the credits up for Echoes.
Yeah,
to-
there's an option to speed up
yeah.
the credits in general. But like in Prime, you can manually fast forward and rewind, which is a lot better. But still,
Well,
oh,
MST
has
has
also done
finally.
254, 56.
Yep. GG.
GG's to everyone. So, do we have anything left to do?
I'm not sure we got much else left to do. We'll let all the credits play out for the runners, and then I guess if you enjoyed what you saw of this little race, you can follow the runners. Twitch.tv/Lenofis/Metroid MST/Baja Blood /the Ginger Chris. Exactly what you see on the screen now. You can go follow all of them right. You can give them all a follow. For more restreamed races and other Metroid shenanigans, twitch.tv/Metconst. For all things
Yeah.
Metroid related.
Leno plays pretty much like Leno plays a bunch of stuff. Sometimes Metroid Primes. I don't know about MST.
MST does a bunch of different things every now and then.
Baja
Again,
and
his
Chris
focus is
usually participate in weekly races on Saturday and Sunday, respectively,
Mhm.
in Prime 2 and Prime and that's about it. So if
Yep.
that's all, I think we can end it here.
Yep. Whenever the restream feels ready to close it off, I guess.
Yeah. It's midnight 34th of May. So goodbye everyone. Have a good night. I'm gonna go make myself a cup of milk to eat with cookies. Because I'm that kind of person.
Please enlighten me. How do you eat milk?
I let it I let it sit there for a bit, like 10 years, and then it kind of solidifies. It makes this weird substance. I don't know how to call it. I call it milk.
The preface, people don't actually eat 10-year-old milk.
Yeah, do not milk. Do not eat 10-year-old cheese unless it's specifically like made to be that way.
I mean, I
Like
keep getting told cheese is
I
basically mold.
recently, yeah, I recently actually did eat some pretty old cheese that was made like specifically to be that way. It was
Mhm.
it was almost completely brown. It was didn't look very good,
I'd
but
imagine.
it was perfectly edible. And some people tell me it even tastes good.
I'll just have to take their word on it on that one.
I think you can try it if you just find it. Oh, I think I'll be leaving right now.
Okie
So
dokie.
you'll probably leave too in just a second, unless you want to wait for the stream to actually fully end.
I'll let
But
the
yeah,
stream end out, and I'll.
all right. Well, that was that. A good race, very close.
Very
Good
close.
night, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.